I'm Marty Moore, owner and driver of the Hemi Express Wheel Standard. Welcome to my Hot Rod Garage. Hey everyone, this time on Marty's Hot Rod Garage we got a 1977 Jeep Cherokee. It's got some issues in it. Let's get it in here and see if we can't get it ironed out. Stay tuned. Alright, we're going to start troubleshooting our Cherokee here. First thing we want to, this thing's falling on space, they said about 3,000 RPMs. So we've got a fuel pump on it right here. So first thing we want to do is check and make sure that we're getting fuel. It looks like this damper here on the exhaust, that's opening, so that shouldn't be a problem. Ron, maybe we'll take this thing a test drive.
Might be a thing to do.
See what it does. Alright, test riding this Cherokee, see what's up. Check that carburetor when we get back and see if the choke is opening.
You may ease into it. It's okay. Now here it comes. There, it's smoothing down.
Okay. Seems like a fuel issue to me.
I think so too. Let us sit out here and run for a minute. We'll pop that hood. It's opening. should be open all the way.
We got a plug out of this thing.
So check out that plug, Caitlin. Remember when we looked at spark plugs a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And let me crank this over.
Would you say that plug is fouled?
Hard to tell.
That's the word I was looking for last night when I was like, it's very, 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 and I couldn't remember the word fouled.
Fouled.
Yeah, crank on it, Marty. Show us what this weak spark looks like. That hardly light a pumpkin at Halloween.
So we're thinking that we have a spark issue with this, possibly the coil.
So this performance distributor is, would you say,
Correct.
not
right.
performing?
This should be a real white spark. You should be able to hear it snapping.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that that's why the plugs look like this.
Yeah.
We're just not getting enough spark.
Yeah. All right.
So,
well, you got a vacuum gauge that I think I might want to borrow from you, because
Sure do.
I think the one I was putting on last night was not sensitive enough to the 16 inches of mercury that we need.
okay.
So
So looking through these, when you put them up to the light, you could see through it and see light all the way through this from here out through the bottom. So we come to this one and you put it to light,
So
you
that
can't
one,
see anything.
that one was plugged
See,
up.
this one is restricted. Something is in here. We're going to have to get that out, whatever's in there.
So that was one problem.
That's a problem. You got, what size welding wire do you run? 23?
I think so.
You got a little piece of welding wire?
Yep.
23 might go through that. Maybe we can run it through and clean that out.
I'll get you a little piece.
Okay.
All right, so we ran that. We ran that through the good one, right?
Yes, we run this to the good one. And it goes, this is 23 thousandths welding wire, and it goes right through with
Okay.
no effort. This is the one that's restricted. Goes in right there, and it kind of stops. So we're going to have to work at this and work at this to get this hole cleaned out.
But she was plugged up.
Yep. We'll blow it out again when we're done.
That could have been some of the spitting and sputtering.
That very well could. Can you give it a little shot of beer?
Now you can see through it, huh?
And you can see through it.
I don't know if you can on camera, but
Yeah, it's awful small. You see
oh
it?
yeah,
Couldn't see
yeah.
it
You
before,
can
could we?
you can. I don't know if you can on camera, but I can see through it with my eye. Yep. Good deal. So that float level is not even close, is it?
No.
And how's the other one over there?
This one is a little too high and the other one's too low. Because actually,
Now, what are you using there, Ron? You got it's
this
supposed
is
to be
7/16 drill bit, and what they're calling for is 7/16 from the gasket surface to the heel of the float
so you're just using that drill bit for a spacer.
is as the exact 7/16
Okay.
that it needs. So we're going to bend this one I'm gonna bend this one up just a little, and then we're gonna bend this one down because this one is too deep, where it doesn't. I'll put a little bend. Let's see, this one needs to come up. I think we're just about there, aren't we? I think we're right there. All right. Now we need to bend this one down. Close, Monty.
Tad bit more.
Yeah, I'll try not to. Very easy to go over right there. Okay. Now, let me check what they call for the foot drop. I'll look up spec on it. Right there.
Now explain to me, Ron, what we're measuring
We're
here.
measuring what they call the float drop. Is when this is assembled, how far the float can fall before it comes to a stop. And then this is the full level, which then shuts the needle off, which is then 7/16 from the gasket to the top of the float. If you watch, that's what actually shuts the needle off to keep the fuel from keep flowing in.
The needle's right there.
Yep, and this is closed, and if I let it fall, that lets the needle off the seats and allows fuel in to then fill the fuel bowl.
Okay.
And you set both of them, you set the float drop, and there's a spec for every type of carburetor and every model of carburetor as to what they want, just by the application.
All right, guys, got to tell you, I'm a little bit confused here. We tore this thing apart, and it had these wheel spacers on, which I'm assuming that someone just had them on there because they had bigger tires on it to space them out, because the bolt pattern is the same. Well, with the factory wheels, the aluminum wheels, to take the spacers off on the front here, our wheel studs aren't long enough, which I find it hard to believe that they had wheel studs for steel wheels and wheel studs for aluminum wheels. The ones on the back here, they're long enough, but just barely. You can kind of see there, but I've got a full nut on them. Of course, these are the nuts that was on the spacers. We'll take those off and put chrome ones on. Al ordered a set, we just don't have them yet. So I guess what we're going to do here is take these hubs off and knock these wheel studs out and try to get some longer ones. All right, guys, we got the wheel stud knocked out, so we got it out. I want to show you why I have this off, because I don't know if you guys ever work on these. What holds this bearing on, and if you've never worked on the old ones, these nuts here, see where this one's got this little tit that sticks out. So when this goes on, you don't ever get confused. Put this one on first with this sticking out. Of course, your hub goes on. This is what tightens your bearing up here. Then when this goes on, then you've got this little keeper with this keyway in it. See it right here? The little keyway. So this goes on, you line that up, and then this, see the little tit here? This goes in. There you go, just like that. And that keeps this from turning. So then your last nut is your locking nut that goes on there after you adjust your bearing, and that's what holds that in, keeps that bearing from turning out. So just wanted to show you that in case you guys ever work on these old ones. Alright, we got the new ignition on this thing. I rebuilt the carburetor, so now we'll see what she'll do. See if it runs any better.